Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Roshan. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you are clearly audible.
You have any assignments today?
No, sir. Yesterday I have
Any
winged it.
other engagement? Any other engagement today?
No, sir.
Then I am surprised no one has joined. One student sometime before joined and again left. I don't know. Even on the live stream, no one is there.
I don't know the reason why they are not joining.
Yesterday you had test of Winjit.
Yes, sir. It was from 6:30 to 8. Gone
Okay.
very well. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes.
And I think yesterday evening all students were preparing.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. We had
Yes,
a
sir.
class yesterday evening
Schedule
also.
for winged it, so they might not have joined. But today there is no any session or any drive, so they must have joined. They
Uh,
must.
today, there should be no problem today.
Yes, sir.
Just wait for 2-3 minutes. Otherwise, I will start. Anyway, the session is being recorded.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Roshan, we shall start. I hope I am audible. Vaishnavi also has joined. Vaishnavi Joshi, am I audible? Just confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we shall start. So in the last class, we have been discussing about the use case modeling or use case analysis, and we shall go forward in that. Yesterday, we discussed the components of use case modeling. They are the system boundary, then the actors, use cases. Okay, so all those were the very preliminary things, and how to represent graphically these components in the use case diagram. So that we discussed in the last class. In addition to that, we also discussed about the relationships that we can have between the different components of the uh, use cases, that is actors, between the actors, between two actors. You can have generalization relationship. Between two use cases, you can have again generalization relationship, or you can have even the uh, relationship like extend relationship or include relationship. Okay. And of course, between the actor and use cases, which is the most frequently used relationship, it is the association relationship. Okay. So we also discussed the use case specifications, in which there is main flow of control, and it may be alternate flow of control even. Okay. So for every use case, you must define the use case specifications. Okay. So that will help you in designing or construction of that particular system. Okay. So go ahead today with the some of the use case models. Okay. And if you have your project definitions final, then we can discuss about preparing the use case models for your final year projects even. Okay. So we shall be discussing about the include and extend relationship. Then we shall be writing a formal use case, and then the use case realization also. What is use case realization? So that also we shall discuss. So the use case relationship. So one of the use case relationship that is used between the two use cases is the a very common mistake is that between the use cases, student use the relationship, that is the association relationship. Okay, so if you are using association relationship between the two use cases, then that particular relationship is incorrect. You should never use association relationship between the two use cases. The association relationship is to be used between uh, association relationship is to be used always between actor and the use cases. Okay. So here one of the personal system has been shown. The actor in that system is manager. The use cases are change employee details, view employee details, and delete employee details. Okay. Whereas find employee detailed is one of the use case. So if certain use case is included, always included as a part of execution of certain use case, for example, change employee detail. So whenever manager goes for change employee detail, so it also includes the behavior of the system, that is find employee detail. So after employee is found, then only you go for change employee details. So in the similar fashion, if you go for view the details of the employee, you first need to find the employee. Even if you want to go for delete employee details, then you need to go for find employee details. Okay, so if certain use case is implicitly included into another use case, then the relationship between the use case and the included use case is called the include relationship. Okay. It is shown with the dotted lines and an arrow. towards the included use case, and a stereotype include is written over that particular dotted arrow line. Okay, so dotted arrow line, usually it is the we can say a dependency relationship. Okay, but it is not actually dependency relationship. It is the include relationship that is being used in the in this particular context. Okay, so the include relationship, let us see the description of this particular include relationship is this much only, that is the relationship between the use cases that allows you to include the behavior of the supplier. Okay, so this is the supplier use case into the flow of a client use case. So this change employee details or view employee details or delete employee details, they are called the client use cases, whereas this particular included use case is called the supplier use case because it supplies certain behavior. Okay, so like this you can show this particular relationship between the use cases. Okay, one more very important one more important aspect that I would like to tell you to all you is that the way sometimes the use case diagram is drawn by the student is very incorrect. Use case diagram is not to show the flow of your system. It is never to be drawn like a flow chart. If you are drawing the use case diagram as the flow chart and showing that after some use case this thing happened, and if you are trying to show it with the arrows between the use case, that is after a system does this particular thing, it goes for doing another thing, after that it goes for doing another use case, and like that. If you are trying to show your use case model as like a flow chart, then that is incorrect, totally incorrect. Okay, so the purpose of the use case model or use case diagram is not to show the sequence of actions or sequence between one behavior, between the different behaviors of the system, after one behavior which is the next behavior, and like that, or after one action or after one process which is the next process, and like that. Okay, so it just shows you what are the different behaviors of the system and to whom that particular behavior is exhibited by the system, who is going to see that particular behavior. Okay, if some actor is going to see that very behavior, then we show the association relationship between the behavior of the system and that particular actor. Okay, so this is the include relationship. Okay, it is stereotype. Okay, when we use stereotype, if we want to change the meaning of certain thing in the UML, then we use stereotype. Basically, the dotted arrow is used for the purpose of dependency relationship, but dependency relationship is converted here in case of the use case diagram to show the include relationship. Okay, so we do not have a special symbol to show the include relationship, so that is why the dependency relationship has been modified to show here or to be used here as the include relationship. Okay, so this include relationship, showing it with the help of the stereotype, is a very common way in the use case diagram. Okay, in many use case diagram, in many literature, you will find this particular include relationship. Okay, then let us talk about the extend relationship. Many times there is a confusion when to use the extend relationship between the use cases and when to use the include relationship. Okay, the include and extend relationship are to be used between the use cases only. Okay, The extend relationship provides a way to add a new behavior to an existing use case. Okay, so you will say that include also adds the behavior. Okay, but there is a difference between include and extend. Okay, the include is implicit; it is always included. Okay, but that is not the case with the extend relationship. The base use case provides a set of extension points which are hooks where the new behavior may be added, and the extension use case provides a set of insertion segments that can be inserted into the base use case at these hooks. So there are certain extension points, and at that particular extension points there are certain conditions. If these conditions are met, then only the behavior of the base use case is extended. Okay, so you show there the extended use case. So the extend relationship itself can as you will see shortly, okay, we'll be showing in the diagram. It will be used to specify exactly which extension point in the base use case is being extended. Okay, so you can have one extension point, or you can have more than one extension point in your use case, base use case, from where the behavior of the base use case can be extended. Okay. Now, let us see this particular diagram in which the use of the extend is used. Okay. For example, this is the library system. This is the use case model for the library system, and some of the use cases in the library systems have been shown here. So this is one of the use case, return book, which is the base use case, and with respect to that return book, we are going to make use of the example of the extend relationship. Okay. Now, the extended use case or the extension use case in this case is the issue find. Okay. So issue find is one of the behavior of the library system. Return book is also one of the behavior of the library system, and of course other two behaviors are also there, borrow book and find book. Okay, but here we are concerned as far as the extend relationship is there between the return book and the issue book. Okay, so return book in its behavior has got certain extension point, okay, which is not shown here in this particular diagram. There is another way to show that extension point. Okay, so that particular extension point, at that particular extension point there will be certain condition, and upon that particular condition is made. Okay, for example, we can see here that the extension use case is issue find. Okay, so if when returning the book, if that particular book is overdue, then in that case, okay, so whether the book is overdue or not, okay, so there will be some extension point in the return book behavior, at which point it will be checked whether the book is overdue. If it is overdue, then that particular condition will be true, and in that case the behavior of this particular return book will be extended, and it will be extended such that it this extension use case, that is issue find, also will be exhibited by the system. Okay, so this is called the extend use case. Okay, so you can see here that again extend relationship is shown by modifying the basic dependency relationship. Dependency relationship is shown with the dotted lines, and it is stereotyped. The dependency relationship is modified. Modification, as I have already told you, that modification in any of the component of UML can be done by using the mechanism called stereotype. Okay, so you use in the double triangular brackets anything you want to modify that. Okay, so I want to modify this dependency relationship with the extend relationship, so that is why it has been written here, stereotype here as extend. Okay, so this is the extend relationship. You need to know the basic differences between the include relationship and the extend relationship. One of the major difference you might have understood that the include relationship is implicit and it is always included. And one more thing to note about the include relationship is that it is the pulling type of relationship. That is the base use case or the client pulls the supplier use case. Okay, so this is pulling type of relationship. The arrow is from the base use case to the included use case. Okay, so indicating that it is pulling this particular use case. Okay, so whereas the extend relationship is pushing type of relationship. That is, the extension use case is pushing its behavior at certain extension point after certain condition is set. Okay, so like this, you can differentiate between the include relationship and extend relationship that is being used in the use case diagram. Okay, so that way use case diagram is a very simple diagram to understand, a very simple diagram to draw on. But of course, if you are not properly drawing this particular use case diagram, then because all other design of your system depends on this particular use case diagram, your design will not be correct or it will not be appropriate if your use case diagram is not correct, if you are not properly drawn your use case diagram. Okay, so and one more important thing, I already told you that those who have studied use case diagram very superficially, that means those who have very less knowledge of use case diagram, what they do, they try to draw this particular use case diagram as a flow chart. Okay, so they feel that it is the different action in your system which are to be shown, and instead of showing those particular actions in the square boxes as they are shown in the flow chart, so here they are to be shown in the ovals or ellipses, and we can show the arrows between the ellipses to show that after this behavior, it is after login, it is register, after registration, it is do certain things. Like that, some 4 to 5 use cases are identified and some arrows are shown between that. So that is very, very incorrect way of showing the or drawing the use case diagram. Okay, the purpose of the use case diagram is to show what the system does. What are the different types of behavior exhibited by the system? Okay, and if any relationships are there between the use cases, then that particular relationship is also here the relationships move. I hope I was audible. Just 1 sec or 1-2 second, the connection was dropped. But earlier, I hope I was audible. So I would like to
Yes, sir, you
have
were.
response from the all active users. You can immediately respond to this particular call. So 3, Roshan, Snehal, and Vaishnavi has responded. I think only 3 are there. So have you understood this extend relationship and include relationship? You can unmute or you can respond to this particular call even. Okay. So
Hello, sir.
yes.
Yes, sir. How do you identify the extension points which are to be given to the this base case?
Actually, extension points are not to be identified in the behavior of that particular system itself. Okay, so at a particular point you need to do certain thing. Okay, so if you are having different events, then at the end of certain event, automatically the system has to take decision whether the behavior is to be extended or it is not to be extended. Okay, so we shall see in detail in the next diagram.
Okay, sir. That
How,
means the activities are correlated, right?
yes.
That means the activities are correlated with the base case, so that's why we are extending it.
Of course, those activities are correlated with each other. Okay, so that is why we are extending it. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so so that is a spatial behavior. Okay, so when some spatial behavior is there, it is not always exhibited by the system. Under certain condition, if the system extend that particular behavior, then in that case you go for showing that particular behavior and you show the you can say extension use case and the base use case and the extend relationship between the use case. Getting it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now in this particular diagram on the next slide, which we are coming on to, okay, I think it is already displayed. Okay, so it is more elaborated. The extend use case relationship is more elaborated here. Okay, you can show extension points within the use case. Okay, for example, in the return book use case, which is the base use case, you can have extension points. Okay, so the extension points, there is only one extension point here. Okay, you can have more than one extension point. So the extension point is overdue book. Okay, so this is the extension point. So that particular extension point, it will come somewhere in the flow of event. Okay, so every use case has got a flow of event in the use case specification. This is the use case specification for the use case written book. Okay, so every use case should have its own use case specification, and this is the standard template for the use case specification. Okay, so it contains the name of the use case, ID of the use case, the actors which are associated with that particular use case, the precondition of the use case and post conditions of the use case. Okay, and in between you have the flow of event, which is the most important part of the use case specification. Okay, so this is the standard template of the use case. Okay, and in the flow of event, somewhere at the end of certain event, you specify that particular extension point. So overdue book is the extension point here. Okay, so what are the flow of event in this written book? So the librarian enters the borrower's ID number. So with this, the use case starts. Okay, the system displays the borrower's details, including the list of borrowed books. Okay, so this is the this is what is the response from the system. Okay, what we show in the flow of events is the interaction between the actor and the system. Okay, so what the actor does and what the system does. Okay, so first thing indicates what the actor. Who is the actor here? It is the librarian is the actor, and the librarian enters the borrower's ID number. Okay, so all of you are aware about this particular procedure in the library. Okay, then what the system responds to the entering of the borrower's number? The system responds the borrower's details. Okay, so including the list of borrowed books. The librarian finds the book to be returned in that particular list. Okay, so that book is being found, and there it is overdue book. Okay, so the system will find there itself if that particular book is overdue or not. Okay, and the librarian returns the book. So if that particular book is not overdue, it is not an overdue book, then the behavior will not be extended. Okay, so if it is overdue book, then it will be extended. If it is not, then it will not be extended, and it will directly go to the return. extended. Okay, my I hope my audio is again back. Okay, so the uh, issue book will be issue find will be again another use case, and again uh, there will be another use case specification for issue book in that case. Okay, so understood this particular point, extension point, the extension use case. Okay, here the extension point name is also shown. Okay, because in the case if you are having more than one extended use case, then at which particular extension point this particular use case is extended, so that is shown over here. Okay, so this is the extend use case. Understood this, Roshan, Snehal, Vaishnavi?
Yes, sir. Clear.
The student who are attending from the live stream, they may be receiving that part a little late, so they may even respond to it in the chat. Prajwal, Raman, Mayuri, I hope they are attending there. They have sent a message, but currently whether they are there or not, I don't know. Okay, so coming back here. This is again uh, the we can say the specification for the another use case, that is issue find. So when issue find is there, the librarian uses the system to record and print a find. So this is what is the flow of events in the issue find. Okay, so that is you can show with this particular extend relationship. Okay. Here there are two extension points you can see in the written book. One is overdue book and uh, pay fine. Okay, so with overdue book, the fine is issued. Okay, so actually it is not paid. So for actually paying the fine, sorry, this is again it is included in that. Okay, the first insertion segment in the issue fine is inserted at overdue book, and the second insertion segment is at pay fine. Okay, so uh, uh, it is the in the issue fine behavior itself you can do two different things. One is to issue the fine, and another is to actually pay the fine. So two points are there, and in that case, if at the first insertion point, that is overdue book, the librarian uses the system to record and print a fine. Okay, so the fine is printed. So that particular fine is to be supposed to be paid. Okay, and what happens at the second insertion point? If the borrower chooses to pay the total fine on the spot, then the librarian. Okay, so there was a little interruption because of the extend relationship. You can ask. We have 2-3 minutes for it. Now, I would like to have the use of this particular use case diagram, a use case model in your own project. So, can you tell any use cases in your from your project, and is there any possibility of using the extend relationship and include relationship in your use case? Yes, Roshan, what is your project?
Yes, sir. Our
Yes, sir.
project.
Our project.
Hello, sir. There
Hello,
is
sir.
echo.
There is echo. The echo. I am not getting echo. It is on your side only.
Okay, sir. So, sir,
So,
our
sir,
unit.
if I mute, there is echo or yes, go on.
Yes, sir. Our
Yes, sir.
problem
Our
statement
problem
is
statement is
product counter
product
fitting
counter
detection
fitting
using
detection
blockchain.
using blockchain. Okay. So, what are the possible use cases? You have to identify the use cases in your system. Okay. So, what are
Yes,
the use cases?
sir. Till date, we
Sir,
have
till
not
date we have
not identified any use
identified
cases
any use
on that,
cases
but
on that, but
we are trying to
we are
work on it.
trying to work on it. Okay, now what we shall do now in the next class, we shall not go, miss. We shall see little theory, but we shall be working on the practical things. Okay, so whatever we study here, that can be directly applied in your projects. Okay, so we shall be discussing uh, with respect to your projects. Okay, so all of
Okay,
you
sir.
come prepared with little things about your projects. Okay, so that we can work on it. Okay, so we shall stop here because it is time to go for you to go to the next class. Okay, uh, if attendance is to be marked, I will mark it. Let me know if someone has not marked attendance. Either unmute yourself or on the in the live stream, those who have mentioned their name, I will mark their attendance. Roshan, have you marked your attendance?
Yes, sir. Mark.
Snehal, Roshan, yes, sir, Mark. Hmm? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. I have marked.
Yes, sir, I have marked. Okay, okay. Snehal and Vaishnavi, okay. I think you have already marked your attendance. Okay, so you may leave, no problem. We shall stop. We are going to stop here. Okay, वैष्णवी तुरफने Mayuri Bakre. So I don't know whether they have marked the attendance or not. 65. Okay, Raman has marked. हॅलो. हा कुलकर्णी, तुम्ही फोन केला ना. बर बर बर, ठीक आहे. कुठे? अच्छा, सरांच्याकडे मीटिंग चालू आहे. ओके.